Hello, everyone, and welcome to Studio de Jeffrey, where you don't always get what you want, but sometimes you get what you need. That's almost a song lyric, but I don't remember how it goes. It's Cowboys Offseason. It's time for the Cowboys Offseason. Draft show on Cowboys.com will start next week. Trust the Tape. Broadus and I do every week for 105.3 The Fan. So that'll cover your draft needs. And, of course, we'll do it on the radio. But we're not going to beat you down with 5 hours of draft talk on January 18th. Because a lot of you aren't trying to hear all that yet, right? Okay, so we do have to prepare for the Cowboys offseason. And so here we are, step one. Step one to preparing for the offseason, in my view, is just an acknowledgement of where is the roster, who is staying, who is going, and what are the big needs for the Dallas Cowboys. And for a team that, I know right after a loss you're going to dismiss this, is a pretty good team or was a pretty good team, there are going to be a ton of changes on the Cowboys roster this particular offseason. So generally what I'm going to do is go through each position group and say, is that a need? Is that a realistic, hey, I could use a first-round pick on this position? Starting on the offense, some of you are going to hate this. Your quarterback's Dak Prescott. You need him to come back next year and look more like the confident, assertive, top 10, top 7 quarterback that he's been throughout his career and less like the guy that we saw the last 2 or 3 months. A big part of that, I believe, is going to be your offensive line play, but Dakota has to own his part of that in that he did not play well for the most part or for a good chunk of the last 2.5 months, ever since the calf strain, really. Dak's your quarterback. Quarterback is not a need. Check in 12 months from now if it looks like Dak's just never going to recover from injury and whatever. Wide receiver is your wild card. It's the wild card because, as Bobby Belt told us yesterday, our Cowboys insider, you don't know what's going to happen with Amari Cooper. He's under contract, so in theory, he's a Dallas Cowboy this year. But if they would like to go a different direction, it's easy for them to do so via trade or another route if they chose. But I'd like to think that he would have trade value. And if Amari were to move on from the Cowboys or the Cowboys were to move on from Amari Cooper, your receiver core is CeeDee Lamb. That's it. Free agents are Michael Gallup, Cedric Wilson, Malik Turner, Noah Brown. Everybody is a free agent that plays wide receiver outside of Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb. So wide receiver will be this year's sneaky need. It'll be the sneaky need, especially if they're not in love with having Amari on the roster and they want to use him as a way to clear cap space for other things. It's possible that wide receiver is a sneaky big need. We shall see. Tight end Dalton Schultz is a free agent. That is going to be one of their big decisions of the offseason because as a guy who is not freakishly physically talented, he was incredibly reliable and productive. Dalton Schultz is really good for this team. Are you going to franchise tag him? Are you going to give him a long-term deal? Or is Blake Jarwin going to step back in as the tight end and you'll let Dalton Schultz go get his reward somewhere else? Because there is absolutely a chance that Dalton Schultz is a $10 million player now. The tight ends who went to New England last year, each of them got $12 million a year, I believe. Hunter Henry and brain fart, whatever. But, yeah, there is a chance that Dalton Schultz is a $10 or $12 million player. Will the Cowboys be swimming in that pond? I don't think so. So they may have a franchise tag decision to make between Dalton Schultz and Randy Gregory. Or Michael Gallup. There's a lot of different routes you could go with the tag, I think. But I would be reserving that for Randy Gregory if you can't get a deal done. And if you can get a deal done and you wanted to use it on Schultz, I get it. He was that productive. Offensive line. This is my priority uno. Priority one for me is the offensive line. Connor Williams will be gone. Ty Nsekhe will be gone. I need a left guard. I think it's possible I need a center. Right guard is fine. Right tackle is fine in one way or another. And left tackle is your offseason wild card. Tyron Smith did not play well against San Francisco, and that was not Nick Bosa that was kind of giving him the business. It was Charles Omenihu and dudes like that. So that was weird. He had a good year. He had a bad playoff game, and he's going to miss games every year. Are you trying to find the right now replacement for Tyron Smith? I know I'm looking for a left guard. If the situation presents itself, I'm looking for a center. One thing we could do is if the coaching staff loves Terrence Steele, and they have reason to, don't get me wrong, he played well when he was playing right tackle for the Cowboys. You could flip Lyle Collins back to left guard. You could plug Terrence Steele in at right tackle. And then your question is still about Tyron Smith. And could I sink big resources into trying to upgrade center? Say Lyle Collins is an upgrade at left guard, and I've got a right tackle to replace him. That is one route we could go. The other route, I don't even know if I need to say this, but I guess I can. I don't think their offensive line is well coached / developed. And I don't think that schematically they got help trying to run the ball. So that's a whole different deal, right? That's an offseason thing about Kellen Moore. And what is that going to look like? But offensive line, is that a need? Yep. So wide receiver, tight end, offensive line, all possibilities. Running back is not a need unless you could find a way to get the Zeke contract off the books, which I don't believe they can. So Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard, that's going to be your running backs. Hopefully Tony Pollard can be the lead back instead of wasting an entire 4-year career outperforming a starter while he's a backup. Flipping over to defense, is edge, is that a need? Randy Gregory is a free agent. Dorrance Armstrong is a free agent. So the answer is, first, you can never have enough. If you have an opportunity to add a good edge player, you do it. So it's always going to be a need. And Randy Gregory is the guy that, to me, has to be the priority. Now, I have noticed an uptick of the number of people out there who are like, I don't want him because I guess of the penalties and the lack of an impact in the game against the 49ers. But good pass rushers are tough to find, and Randy Gregory has established himself as one of those. You're going to want to keep him. And if you have an opportunity to add more somewhere, add more somewhere. Tank Lawrence came back and was so good that if it's up to me, he's staying. He is a guy they could use to clear cap space, but if it's up to me, that's too good a player. He stays. Defensive tackle, Carlos Watkins and Brent Urban are free agents. Maybe one of them comes back. Brent Urban obviously got hurt and missed most of the year. That also means that his market value hadn't gone up, and it may have gone down, and he was cheap to begin with. So you may take another flyer on Brent Urban, and maybe Carlos Watkins has no market value, and you take another flyer on him. But that is one of my other sneaky needs is defensive tackle. Neville Gallimore has shown that he can be a good player. Tristan Hill has flashed a little bit, but I believe that the Cowboys' struggles against the run, and they weren't huge, but they had them at different times in different games. You definitely had trouble stopping run, even when you were pretty sure a team was going to run. And to me, that starts on the interior. They don't have a real nose tackle. If it's the right player, for instance, here's your draft prep, Jordan Davis, the Georgia 360-pound defensive tackle, he's going to offer you basically nothing as a pass rusher. He's probably not going to be in a game on 3rd and long, but he will occupy 2 blockers, and those 2 blockers ain't going to throw him out of the hole. In the 20s, could you pick that kind of player? I am looking for a real-life nose tackle because in my dream world, you're able to control the run while committing little resources to it. Now, that would be a first-round pick, but that, I mean manpower. I want to be able to play coverage. I want to be able to play 2 deep safeties. I want to be able to have my box be, depending on what the offense is doing, 5 or 6 guys and still not get gashed. I think they need a big boy to help make that happen. Is linebacker a need? Keanu Neal's a free agent. Leighton Vander Esch is a free agent. If neither one of them is back, linebacker's obviously a need. You're okay with Micah Parsons, and I think and hope that Jabril Cox, who got hurt this year, will be your other starter, because I was on record before he got hurt and before the season started that I think Jabril Cox is the sort of player that is the modern linebacker. I think he'll play in Pro Bowls. So Jabril Cox and Micah Parsons is a good start. I want Parsons to rush the passer a ton, though, so I probably need at least one more. Linebacker, absolutely a need. Safety is a huge need. DeMonte KZ, Jaron Kearse, Malik Hooker, they're all free agents. Maybe you try to bring back, say, Hooker. If you think that he didn't build back his value, huge. Or maybe it's KZ. Maybe you bring back one of those guys and you have Donovan Wilson and you're still looking for a guy somewhere, cheap free agent draft. But safety right now is a massive need, depending on which guys they bring back. And I'll end you with this. By the way, give me your cornerback, by the way. Not a massive need. You'll have everybody under contract. Trayvon Diggs, Kelvin Joseph, Anthony Brown, Jordan Lewis. They're all under contract. So not a huge need. But corner is also corner. If you have an opportunity to add a good one, you add a good one. Now, my two early dogs in the hunt, as I've done some draft prep. It's January, chill out, but I'm getting started. Tyler Linderbaum. I always forget if it's an R or an N. Is it Lindenbaum? I think it's Linderbaum. The Iowa center. I studied him last night, and I think he's going to be the best center in football. It's a center, but I don't think he makes it to 24. Kobe Dean, Georgia linebacker. I don't like off-the-ball linebackers in the first round. But like Parsons, he's a hell of a blitzer. He can rush the passer, and him and Parsons would be a hell of a combination. Nakobe Dean's worth the 24th overall pick. Linderbaum is easily worth the 24th overall pick. And Jordan Davis out of Georgia might be worth the 24th overall pick as a giant defensive tackle. Those are my three names. Give me your needs in order. The biggest needs for the Cowboys. Biggest needs in the comments at youtube.com/Jeff Cavanaugh. I will see you on G-Bag Nation from 2 to 7 today. And on 105.3thefan.com, of course, where we hang out and put all our videos. Remember, you have no idea what anybody's going through. So be cool to everybody. I love you. Bye.